And here's the next page in our altered book. It's a heart that's sewn in plastic. If you're not sewing, you of course can glue, always, always, always. Background with texture paste, gelatos, copper paint, copper wire down the side, more material sewn around the window that we cut open. All right, get ready, because here we go. All right, I have a salad container. This is probably from Costco. I'm going to cut the side panels out and use that plastic in our next project. Line and round those corners off. Okay, these are a couple pieces from an old quilt that was given to me. So delicious. I am going to cut a heart that will fit in my window, wherever my window is. Something like that. I love this color on this side too. I folded the square in half. Now I'm going to cut the heart. Alright, that looks like that's going to fit. I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and sew it together tightly. I know I have black on the top and blue on the bottom, blue in my bobbin, and I'm okay with that. We're going forward. Alright, here's my stitched heart. My intention, if my sewing machine can handle it, is to sew around just in a messy fashion around the heart. Okay, I have it stitched around, ran out of the black, of course, put blue in. Very fun and grungy. I'm bringing in my copper tape. Smaller pieces. And I'm going to put these around the edge of the plastic, or the faux glass. And I don't care if it's on straight or not. I'm going to make it kind of wonky around. That's why I have small pieces of copper, so that it'll have some texture to it. And I'm going to go around the whole thing with copper tape. I have layers of the copper tape around the edge, front and back. I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and without thread in it, I'm going to sew around this edge, just perforating it, making holes around the edge. No thread in the needle. I'm bringing in my Van Dyke brown hue, rubbing it on the edges. Bring in a paper towel. And do that to the other side. And here it is. You can leave as much grunge around the edge as you like, or wipe it off as clean as you like. But there's the little perforations, and they kind of grab that paint. So fun. I'm going to bring my crocodile in, poke a hole here and here. I'm going to install an eyelet here and here with my crocodile. I'm going to install a jump ring here and here. And with the jump rings, they have that break there. So if you just wiggle them back and forth, they get kind of soft. And then you can install it and wiggle it back into place. I would like to see if I can put that there. And also a fishing lure twisty thing. Here again, you can twist that, smush it back together. Smush, 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 smush. And And I will put a jump ring here and the twisty thing here. All right, I'm bringing in a 2-page spread, my stencil, my well-loved stencil, and this is from the Crafters Workshop modeling paste. I'm going to give that a whirl with my palette knife and put it on the page. Yummy and delicious. Put it on both sides. And I'm going to let that dry. All right, here's our 2-page spread with the modeling paste on there. I was out of my texture paste. Patricia and I walked to the store today and I got some baby powder. So I am ready to make my texture paste, and I am grateful for this modeling paste until then. I'm going to bring in the black gesso and paint both pages with the black gesso. Okay, so there's lots of texture going on. It paints very differently than painting on paper with the texture paste. Very fun, very textury, white still showing through, which I love that. And we are going to let that dry. All right, I think the gesso is dry enough. I'm going to come in with my 60 grit sandpaper. I have a sanding block to save my fingers, and I'm going to go through here and I'm going to sand this down, creating some more textures. I use gesso instead of acrylic paint because the gesso will sand better than the acrylic paint. Sometimes the acrylic paint will peel off just because it's the nature of the beast. It's plasticky. And the gesso is chalky, so it will sand better. So that is why I do that. I'm going to bring in a practically dry baby wipe. Get all the powder out of there. And this is the delicious stuff that came off in the sanding. Judy gave me some bottles. I will put this in a bottle. Ta-da! All right, so you can see the difference between the sanded side and the non-sanded side. There's quite a difference in the texture. There's quite a difference in the appearance. I'm going to do one side at a time. We're just going to play on one side. I'm going to bring my gelatos in, color sticks, water-soluble crayons, anything like that will work. This is the raspberry or the purple. I do have my own color palette that I enjoy. Add some fun color, smoosh it around. Bringing in a light blue. I'm bringing in yellow-green, stencil, makeup sponge, and I'm going to dab some of this just here and there, or at least that's my intention. Yum, yum, yum. All right, let that dry. Okay, we have a lot of circles going on. I'm going to bring in a credit card and some white acrylic paint and make some white line markings. Okay, once that's dry, I'm bringing my sandpaper back in, give it a good scrub. Now we're going to figure out where our heart goes. Measure out where you would like your window. For your embellishment, whatever that embellishment is. I'm using a white paint pen so that I can see it. Bring in a cutting mat and a ruler and an X-Acto and cut that away. I'm going to punch a hole in the center here and the center here for jump rings. I'll use my crocodile, the hole punch, install an eyelet in those two holes. I'm going to go ahead and install the jump rings now. I'm going to bring in some of that same fabric from that quilt. It's very, very fragile. You can see how it's falling apart. And I'm going to sew that across the top and across the bottom. I'm going to install my heart. I'm going to bring my crocodile in and create some holes down the side. Just random. I'm bringing in about 3 feet of a 20 gauge copper. You can add beads on this as you go, if that is something that looks fun to you. I've worked my way to the top, and I'm going to work my way back down. Okay, there's something about the background that doesn't feel good. Laura was talking about her silicone basting brush. So I'm dabbing some copper on that. So I'm going to make some holes here and wire that heart into place. So holes here, here, I'll put eyelets here, here, and then wire it, or at least that's my intention. I'm going to do one corner at a time because I cannot be trusted to make them even ever. So I will do one at a time. Okay, ta-da! So I have wire here, wire here, wire here, wire here, and here. These are attached at the top and the bottom. I sewed some copper wire along the side. The page does have stability when you turn it, so that is what we're after. You have the heart on either side, so we'll be doing something fun on this side. Ta-da, made the wrong size hole here and here. Oh well, I'm okay with that. Just go ahead and put an eyelet in there and go forward. So go create, go play, go have fun.